The Honourable Vic Fedeli is Ontario's Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. He has been a member of the Provincial Parliament representing Nipissing since his election in 2011. He has just returned from a trip to India where he led a trade mission from Ontario, and today we'll talk about the success of the mission. Welcome to VNN, Mr. Fedeli.
It's great to be here, Bala. Thank you very much for taking the time to meet with me today.
Yeah, no, thank you. Anyway, I think you had a wonderful trip looking at your Twitter pictures and the tweets that you were sending out.
Yes, it was very active, non-stop, morning to night. We let no minute go by unused.
And this was, I mean, how long was the mission?
It was a week long.
It's a week long.
Yeah.
And the cities that you covered were?
We began in New Delhi and went to Mumbai and then returned home.
And then you met any government officials in Delhi, New Delhi?
We met with a lot of business-to-business meetings. We are finalizing an MOU with Karnataka. And mostly it was the bigger industries as well, where we think we have an opportunity for them to locate in Ontario.
I think you've been with Tata Consultancy Services and HCL.
I was shocked at Tata. Worldwide, 700,000 employees.
Yeah,
everything in India has an extra 0 or 2 or 3.
I think they have more than 100 billion in people.
Again, many more zeros than any Ontario company.
So are they coming here? I mean, they already have a presence.
They have a great
presence here.
Great presence in downtown Toronto. Yeah.
But do they want to set up any research and development center?
It was a good meeting just to discuss an opportunity for me to say, look, here's what we've done in Ontario in the last 17 months under Premier Ford. We've taken $5 billion in costs out of the system. So that's the kind of message we delivered to Tata, to all of the other companies, that Ontario is open for business and open for jobs. So
after this mission, what type of investment is coming from India to Ontario?
A couple different things. The number one announcement that came out of it was after many months of engagement, VVDN Technologies is going to locate in Kitchener-Waterloo area with the hiring of more than 200 engineers. This is a great technology company. They not only design and do engineering and design in India, they also manufacture. So the start here will be 200 master's or PhD graduates.
That will mainly for research?
For research and advanced manufacturing design.
Okay, and I think and then did you go to Korea too? South Korea?
Yes.
There was a mission before this.
A couple weeks before, we had a very successful mission to South Korea and to Japan. To Japan was a chance to meet with many of the automakers and say thank you. Thank you for your investments in Ontario.
Toyota investment.
Honda, to Toyota. Tour their facilities. Congratulate them on winning the J.D. Power. The number one automotive plant in the world is here in Ontario, which tells people
the Toyota plant,
we know how to manufacture. Toyota, and that one is in Cambridge. In Korea, we finalized a deal with Daily Partners, and that is a $20 million health sciences venture fund, first of its kind in Canada, so that is a great partnership. As well as the Korean Importers Association. We did an MOU. You can imagine, there's 8,500 members. Korea imports $535 billion a year, and we only have a very tiny slice.
I mean, the same thing with India, isn't it? Hardly any trade. It's very small, minuscule.
I would tell you, I was shocked reading about India. You know, to put it in perspective, Ontario in the U.S., two-way trade is $400 billion. We export to India $400 million.
Yeah, why is that? I mean, what is is there a deadlock or gridlock or what's happening? I mean,
first of all, I thought it was a typo, a typing mistake in the number. I thought we were missing a 0 or 2, but it's $400 million. Number one export, helicopters, aircraft. So that would really only be a couple of airplanes. Number two export, scrap metal. I was shocked.
Strange,
so what I saw in India tells me to come back and talk to the Ontario manufacturers to amp up their game in terms of
I
export.
think
We will
mainly
guide them.
infrastructure projects, and I mean those are the big investments needed there.
Look at infrastructure in India. We learned a story when I was there that every single minute of every single day, 30 rural
Kilometers,
Indians,
yeah.
30
Right.
rural Indians move to urban
Yes.
India. That's 16 million people. If you compare it in Ontario terms, that would be creating a city the size of Ottawa
Yeah,
every single month
yeah.
till 2050. That's how much infrastructure is
I
needed.
mean the numbers are huge.
So we want Ontario companies to be
move
there
yeah.
and be part of that, be part of India's success. But
Do you think
bring
we
home some
began, Canada and Ontario, we began a little late? Because US and other countries have started moving in some time ago.
I'm disappointed
Yeah.
in what happened over the last 15 years
Yeah.
that we never
We
did
could
anything.
have done a lot, much
It
more.
was the
much-
time to build the base,
Yes.
but we won't look back. We will now form these alliances. That's why I suspect you'll see us returning to India frequently,
Okay.
so we can build partnerships and build an understanding that we're not just dropping in there to say hello, that we have a very
Right.
serious agenda with India.
Did you meet any central government officials in Delhi or?
The issue, of course, many elections were just being
Yes,
held,
that's
and
true.
so it was a rough time for that. On my last visit, I did meet with Prime Minister Modi,
Okay.
but this particular time,
Oh, he was very good involved.
you know, it was a really rough time with some of the state elections.
Yeah.
So there'll be plenty of opportunity, plenty of return trips.
Any unpleasant experiences in India?
No, I gained
Nothing?
4 pounds. I gained 4 pounds. I love the food so much.
Okay.
I enjoyed my trips to India. I will tell you, I was more impressed this trip with the advancements in the infrastructure, the
roads, the buildings
roads,
and-
the buildings, the technology was really advanced in the last few years. They really leapfrogged other jurisdictions.
But you didn't go to Hyderabad and Bangalore and Kochi because those are the other three IT hubs which are
Yes, the next trip.
developing very fast.
We talked about it, but once we expect to sign an MOU with Karnataka. When we do that, I think that will
That will be Bangalore as a hub, yeah.
signal our next trip, which will be Bangalore and other. The next trip should be more IT and tech.
You know, we just read, I mean, there has been a flight of capital from Ontario. Has there been? And then is there any plans to bring it back?
In the latest global research report that IBM put out, Ontario, we've turned that around. Under Premier Ford,
Yes,
they
he's-
acknowledged that Ontario is open for business. We became the #1 jurisdiction for foreign direct investment, incoming foreign direct investment for new jobs,
Okay.
the #1. And so that's a real turnaround for Ontario.
So, what do you think are the new jobs that can be created in Ontario? I mean, since you look after the job file also, employment file.
So there's real opportunity with NAFTA 2.0.
Because Freeland has gone there, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, there's real opportunity because when this deal is ratified, the local content of automobiles must change from 62.5% up to 75%.
Okay.
And so that means if you want to sell parts to an automaker, you need to make most of those parts here. And so that is a real good opportunity for companies to move to Ontario. But further than that, think about NAFTA 2.0. It's a gateway to the US and Mexico. That's $1 trillion of trade done between the three. So to me, if you want an open door into the US, come to Ontario. Locate your plant here. We're open for business. We'll set you up. And you've got that open door, but not just the US. Ontario is the #1 jurisdiction worldwide for free trade deals. We have more free trade deals out of Ontario than any other G7 country. So with NAFTA to the US, with the Latin America, Japan, Korea, European, British, all of these free trade deals exist. So if you want access to all of those places worldwide, come to Ontario.
Did you have contacts with the Mahindra group?
Yes, we met with Mahindra as well.
They have, I think, a plant in the U.S. which is that they build tractors and four-wheel drive vehicles.
Yes, we had a very productive, very.
Are they thinking of Ontario as a?
Well, our message again was, look, if you're looking for a lower cost producer, Ontario under Premier Ford has taken $5 billion out of the cost of doing business by allowing you to write off your equipment in year. That's about a $700 million saving. The WSIB, Workplace Safety Insurance, we've reduced the premiums by more than $2 billion without touching the benefits for employees. These kinds of things. So that's the message we would have delivered to Tata, to Mahindra, and to companies.
The Birla, you meant
all of the multinationals, whether in Korea, Japan, India, the US.
Now, you look after the economic development file, isn't it? So does that cover infrastructure in Ontario as well?
No, we now have a separate Ministry of Infrastructure, but we work hand in hand.
Okay. So you do any part of the planning will be under your ministry?
No. When these large mega infrastructure projects occur, we know that some of them are transit, so that'll be Ministry of Infrastructure, Ministry of Transportation. To have a site,
all building activity comes with them.
Virtually all of it, through Infrastructure Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah. So many times you'll need the Ministry of Environment involved. You'll need all of these groups to come together. That's why at the cabinet table we share all of our files.
So any specific file that the economic development department looks at?
Right now, just today, in fact, an hour or so ago, we went to Woodstock. And we announced our Job Site Challenge.
Jobs Challenge, I read about that.
Very exciting opportunity. We're looking for mega sites. Cornwall to Kenora, Wawa to Windsor, anywhere in between. We want 500 to 1,500 acre sites that will make...
That's huge.
It's huge. But we're going after a big fish now. When the last automotive plants were open, they were either in the US or Mexico. We never had a site ready in Ontario. So we're going to invest time and money making sure we have these mega sites ready. And once we do that, have these sites selected and are ready for a company to be able to make a decision to move to Ontario, they can very quickly get a building permit. We will then market those sites worldwide.
But these are restricted to automobiles?
No, they'll be for advanced manufacturing, life sciences, whatever needs a huge facility. We've been all through Toronto at some of the life science labs that are massive complexes over hundreds of acres of plants. So they would be equally eligible.
So we can expect a lot more in this field in the near future. Eh?
Premier Ford acknowledges that job creation, putting people to work, is critical for Ontario's growth. And all of the changes that we've done are designed to put people to work. And since his changes went in, we've seen 256,000 new jobs created in Ontario.
Are these good jobs?
These
not
good,
just part-time? And
these are mostly full-time, mostly private sector jobs. Many entrepreneurs. Many of them are small businesses that people have formed to carve their own future. It's wonderful.
Why is there this general impression that, the Doug Ford government is cutting, cost cutting? And I don't know whether it's just hyped up, and that's what happened during the federal elections also.
It's pure hype.
It's pure hype, isn't it?
It's pure hype. We are investing $1.9 billion more in healthcare than the day we got elected.
So this
$1.2 billion more in education since the day we were elected. That's more than $3 billion increase in health and education spending in 17 months. So it's all a big lie. It's all the opposition not having any plan of their own and just being able to
why is it not effectively sort of countered? Why is the government not countering these charges? I think you need to have more communication.
We try to counter them every day. That's why I come, Bala, and meet with you, so I have a chance to look the people in the eye and say, that is inaccurate, that's not true. We've spent more than $3 billion more in health and education than the day we were elected 17 months ago.
So this job challenge, Ontario Job Challenge program, you think it'll work well?
It's one of the pieces. It's one of the pieces. We need many. We need to cut red tape. you know, if there's
Is
anything
there a lot of red tape?
If there's anything that Premier Ford cut, it's red tape. He expects us to reduce the red tape burden by $400 million by the end of next year. So we have a bill on the floor of the legislature right now, which sadly the NDP and the Liberals are not supporting, that is going to take 80 pieces of red tape out. If you're a dry cleaner, if you're in the trucking industry, if you're a hairdresser, you will have less red tape tomorrow if this bill passes.
So what happened? Does it entail sort of a layoff in the bureaucracy or cutting staff?
If I can tell you specifically, on the trucking, right now you need to go and bring your vehicle in once a year properly for a 3-hour inspection. You also need to bring your vehicle in at a different time for a half-hour emissions test. Both are critical, both are needed. We're going to allow them to be done at the same time. So bring your truck in once, 3.5 hours, you're gone. So it's more time for you to be out delivering goods, keeping the economy going. If you're in the dry cleaning business, there are very, very, very strict federal regulations and a set of provincial regulations. Why do both? Allow the strict federal regulations to stand, and now you only have one to follow.
So would you like to go to India again?
Oh, I'll be in India again. I can hardly wait. I need to lose the weight I put on by the beautiful Indian food before I can go back.
Oh, sorry. Anything else you would like to tell our viewers about Doug Ford's program for economic development, jobs?
Well, I had a great opportunity to go on the Kapil Sharma show and be able to talk about Ontario and the great projects that we have in Ontario and India, and that was a kind of a fun little entertainment highlight of the trip.
I think he has about 1 or 2 million followers. I think.
Oh, he's got 14 million Twitter followers alone.
And his show is seen by everybody.
It'll be seen
even here.
It'll be seen here in Ontario in December, and they can see how well their government was represented.
That's nice. Anyway, we have had a chance to speak with the Honourable Vic Fedeli, Ontario's Minister for Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade. It was a pleasure having you, sir, at our VNN media. Thanks a lot.
Always my pleasure. Thank you, Bob.